This season opens with the scene where Kazuya and Chizuru have decided to make a movie together so that Granny Sayuri can see it. That's all well and good, but now they have to sit down and work out all the details. Kazuya meets up with Teppei Shimizu, a music producer from Campfire. Teppei wonders if Kazuya thinks that crowdfunding is a child's play and explains that his project doesn't have images and his text doesn't feel professional. The pitch and the rewards are also very important, and while 70% of the projects reach their goal, it's due to a lot of work and planning, while those who put little effort always fail to reach the goal. They will support the project as much as they can, but can't allow it to launch in its current state. Later, Kazuya tells Chizuru that he couldn't launch the project as it won't likely succeed in its current state. Kazuya is also worried that Chizuru intends to use her real name, Ichinose, and people at the college can recognize her. However, Chizuru doesn't really care about that, and Kazuya shouldn't get too worked up about it, because Chizuru is expecting a lot from her producer. Hearing that, Kazuya gets super excited. She also spoke to her agency, and they are fine with it. Kazuya notes that he will need some pictures for the project, and Chizuru states she will speak with her manager. In that moment, a third from the balcony next to Kazuya shows up and states that she has been hearing them talk on the balcony quite often and wonders if they can't just talk in their rooms, and if they are that lovey-dovey, they should just start dating. Chizuru and Kazuya blush, while Kazuya is surprised to learn that someone is living in apartment 202, as he last heard it was unoccupied. The girl then wonders if they are already dating, but Kazuya denies it. She then goes inside, stating that she doesn't want any trouble and had said what she wanted to say. Kazuya then feels awkward and tries to joke about it, but Chizuru goes back inside and stating they should avoid having balcony meetings for a while. Kazuya is shocked and disappointed as they had just started working with Chizuru on a project together and the neighbor ruined that. The next day, Kazuya is still pissed off. He recalls seeing a moving truck a few weeks ago and is glad at least that the neighbor girl doesn't know about Chizuru being his rental girlfriend. In that moment, Kazuya sees the neighbor girl and attempts to hide, but she sees him and is surprised that he also goes to the same college, Narima U, and wonders what year he is. Kazuya reveals he is a second year, and the girl then introduces herself as Mini Yaimori, a first-year student. Kazuya is surprised how friendly she is, as he believed she would be quite mad. But Minnie explains that she saw in a WetTube video that you need to put your foot down when you deal with annoying neighbor. However, that attitude isn't good when she is dealing with an upperclassman and apologizes. Minnie's friend wonders if he knows him, and just as Minnie starts to explain that he is her neighbor, Kazuya imagines a situation where she tells everyone that he is talking with a beautiful girl on the balcony, and that becomes a problem. He interrupts Minnie, wanting to talk with her privately. Yoshiaki and Shun meet in class. Shun wonders where is Kazuya, and Yoshiaki guessing he is skipping. Shun feels something is up as Kazuya have been going straight home lately. Yoshiaki agrees, recalling that Kazuya is always looking at his computer, even during lunch breaks. Kazuya asks Minnie to keep his balcony meetings a secret. As Minnie wonders why, he explains that it's not nice to get involved in people's relationships when you don't know anything about them. Minnie then guesses that Kazuya has a thing for Chizuru, and Kazuya can't deny it. However, she agrees that she would be hurt if someone joked about her special relationships. Minnie states that she has someone special too, and shows Kazuya a picture of a diva, Nikaze Mei from Billion Live. She was recently into another diva, but had changed her mind and promises that she won't get in his way. Back at home, Kazuya struggles to think of what to write for the project. He saw in the other projects people talk about their dreams and what led them to crowdfunding, but he can't write about Chizuru's grandmother without Chizuru's permission and can't call Chizuru on the balcony to talk. He then receives a message, which is from Chizuru, asking him if she can come over. Kazuya starts to panic, wondering why and for how long she will stay. He starts cleaning and notes that while she had visited before, it was all accidental and not on her own free will. He barely replies, confirming it, and proceeds to clean up. Moments later, the doorbell rings, and Kazuya opens nervously and apologizes that his place is a mess. Once inside, Chizuru explains that she wanted to talk earlier, but was busy. She is here to talk about the movie, and his neighbor is correct that talking on the balcony is a nuisance. The two then start working on the project, and Kazuya suggests they lower the goal to 1.82 million yen. Chizuru wonders if that would be enough, and Kazuya explains that he did some research, and for a movie about 60 to 90 minutes, they need to film for about a week. He then proceeds to explain each item they would need, payments for the staff, and adding 50k yen for unforeseen issues. It all comes around 1.82 million yen. After explaining it all, Kazuya barely can keep his focus as he keeps getting distracted and how attractive Chizuru is. Chizuru then sends him some pictures of her for the project. Chizuru also states that she doesn't need payment, but Kazuya is against it as he made the offer to fund the movie and she star in it. Chizuru then sees a section about rewards and wonders what it is. Kazuya explains it's the rewards the backers will receive based on the tier of their support, and they should make the rewards desirable. Kazuya also states that he wants to talk about Chizuru and her grandmother in the project description, and Chizuru agrees. Kazuya is surprised as he felt that Chizuru wouldn't want to make this some sort of a sob story, but Chizuru states she can't just say to not everything and only care for her dream to come true. Kazuya's stomach then rumbles. Chizuru realizes he haven't eaten and decides to cook him something, but sees that his fridge is almost empty and there is nothing she can cook for him. Kazuya initially got excited that she will cook for him, but then regretted being lazy and not having anything in the fridge. Chizuru goes to her apartment and takes some ingredients and prepares omelette rice. She tells him to not get the wrong idea as she just doesn't want to feel responsible if he got sick for not eating right while working on her movie. Kazuya then starts eating, feeling it's the best omelette rice he ever had. Seeing him eating and saying nothing, Chizuru tells him to at least tell her how it is, and Kazuya states it's great. As it's getting late, Chizuru decides to leave. Kazuya thanks her for helping him out and decide on some things and states he plans on using his savings too. Hearing that, Chizuru is against him using his savings as is already doing a lot. Kazuya states it's not for her dream, but for his, and he can spend his money to chase his dream. However, he either way has only 100k yen. Chizuru agrees and tells him to contact her if he needs to discuss anything. Kazuya starts to feel that his relationship with Chizuru is changing for the better. Chizuru opens the door to leave, but she and Kazuya are surprised to see Ruka standing outside. Ruka sees Chizuru coming out of Kazuya's apartment. She starts yelling at him, asking when they got together, but Kazuya denies it. He wonders why is Ruka here, and Ruka reminds him that she told him she will come to return him his manga. Ruka continues to rant about them and states that they even got into truce, thinking that Chizuru isn't doing well due to her grandmother, but it appears Chizuru is totally fine. She then reminds her that she is a rental girlfriend and shouldn't meet privately with customers, even more in relationships with them. Chizuru states the same for Ruka, but Ruka explains that she quit being a rental girlfriend few months ago. They try to explain, but Ruka doesn't want to listen anymore. She enters Kazuya's apartment and sees some leftover homemade food and how messy the apartment is and gets the wrong idea. Ruka then cries and tries to leave, but Kazuya stops her. However, he can't just tell her about the movie. As he wonders on what to do, Chizuru decides that they tell her and asks Ruka if she can listen, and they enter Kazuya's apartment to talk. Minnie, who was going home, ended up accidentally hearing everything and learned that Chizuru is a rental girlfriend. Inside, Chizuru reveals that they are working on a movie. As they need to save money, they can't go out and talk in a restaurant, and talking on the balcony disturbs the neighbors, so they had to meet in the apartment. Kazuya apologizes to Ruka as he didn't want to stress her and explains that he respects Chizuru as an actress, and as her grandma doesn't have much left, he really wants to do this. Ruka understands the situation and accepts it, but states she will help too. That way, she can also spend more time with Kazuya and they will also get extra help. But if they don't want to, it means she is getting in their way. Chizuru understands her position, and both Chizuru and Kazuya agree. Ruka wants to know one more thing and asks Kazuya which he liked more, Chizuru's omelette rice or Ruka's curry. Kazuya feels this is a trap and whatever he says is bad, but since if he doesn't choose the curry, Ruka may put a stop to the project. He states it's the curry and Ruka gets happy. Since they have resolved the problem, Chizuru decides to leave, while Ruka wishes to stay a bit longer. Kazuya goes to Shimizu to show him the revised project. Meanwhile, Chizuru visits Sayuri and tells her about the movie. Sayuri laughs but realizes it must have been Kazuya's idea, as he probably learned that Sayuri wanted to see Chizuru star in a movie. Sayuri is fine with whatever they want to write about her and is even ready to act even more sick. Chizuru asks her what she thought of her boyfriend. Sayuri didn't expect that she would bring a boy, but explains that people are not perfect, which is why they have others in their life that provide what they are lacking. Kazuya isn't perfect and has plenty of failings and weaknesses, but there isn't anyone in the world who is better matched than him for Chizuru. Kazuya runs home. He sees Chizuru and tells her that Teppei Shimizu approved their project. Chizuru takes it calmly and tells him that Sayuri also approved it and they can write what they want for her. Before going into her apartment, Chizuru tells Kazuya that he is a nice guy. Kazuya gets excited and after going home, he publishes the project. In the morning, Kazuya checks the project and sees that there are 33 backers and have gathered already $120,000 yen. While he leaves for school, he sees Chizuru also leaving and tells her the news. Kazuya gets enthusiastic, but hears some noise from Minnie's apartment and they decide to calm down a bit. Chizuru states they shouldn't be too optimistic as they don't even have the script yet. At school, he meets with Ruka and tells her the news and that they can't go to professional for the script as it isn't in their budget. Ruka sends him a link to a web novel site stating that there are a lot of passionate people there. Kazuya again apologizes for the movie but thanks her. Ruka isn't happy about it but doesn't wish to go against his wishes. Ruka likes his blind, single-minded passion and is happy to be the girlfriend of such person. Later, Kazuya checks the web novel site. He finds a lot of great ones, but they all don't seem suitable for this movie. He feels hungry and decides to go get gyoza. However, as he passes by Minnie's apartment, she pulls him in. As Minnie ended up on him, Kazuya feels uncomfortable and attempts to leave, but Minnie stops him and apologizes. She then shows him a video of last night and Ruka, revealing that Chizuru is a rental girlfriend. Kazuya panics and starts wondering what Minnie wants, but is prepared to give her anything to keep Chizuru's secret. Kazuya apologizes and tells her the whole story. Minnie learns that this whole thing has been going for a year and gets excited believing that he really loves Chizuru. Hearing how much he spent on Chizuru, Minnie is even more impressed by him since she often stops herself from spending that much on her favorite things. Minnie then wishes to call Kazuya Master. Kazuya wonders if she plans on blackmailing him with the video, but Minnie states she only filmed it in self-defense if she was to be dragged into something. Minnie then lets him into her room, which is full of stuffed animals and clothes. She reveals that she is a cosplayer and streamer, going by the name Cornet Maru. Minnie likes Kazuya's story as it feels like a movie. His romance began with a rental relationship, but eventually it grew into actual love and they couldn't live without each other. Minnie then wants to know more about Chizuru, and as Kazuya tells her, she feels that Chizuru is an angel. Minnie hopes things work out for them, but Kazuya states that he doesn't expect anything in return and that Chizuru probably doesn't even like him. However, Minnie states that she obviously loves him. Kazuya doesn't believe it, but Minnie explains that she has been with him for a whole year, even though he is such a loser, and that she won't be hanging out with a problematic customer unless he has some feelings for him. Kazuya still refuses to believe. Minnie then states that Chizuru is probably lying in bed wondering why she can't be honest with him. Minnie decides to support him and make sure that the two start dating. Kazuya heads back but still can't believe what Minnie said. Meanwhile, Chizuru is at her balcony, drinking tea and listening to music. She checks Kazuya's balcony, but as he isn't there, she decides to stay for one more drink. During class, Kazuya reads some web novels for possible script for their movie. He ends up liking The Ultramarine Constellation by Rie Itohara so much that he even cries after finishing reading it. Later, he proposes it to Chizuru as a possible script, explaining it's about a coming-of-age drama about a girl in college. Chizuru agrees to read it and tells him she will contact him after she reads it. While waiting to hear from Chizuru, Kazuya can't stop thinking about her after Minnie told him that she must like him. Later, Kazuya receives a message from Chizuru stating she liked the script and agrees that they go with it. Kazuya and Chizuru go to meet up with upperclassmen from the film club, meeting Tabuse. Kazuya asks him to not tell anyone about Chizuru's acting career and he agrees. After the meeting, it starts raining and Kazuya runs to buy an umbrella. Tabuse laughs, saying that Kazuya has been like that the whole time. He decides to reveal how Kazuya convinced him to join the project. Initially, the club had already decided on a film to shoot over summer break, so Tabuse told him that he can't do it. Kazuya begged him, explaining that he owns Chizuru everything and she helped him when he hit rock bottom. He sees this as his turn to help her out. After that, Tabusa wanted to meet Chizuru and see the actress that has smitten Kazuya. 2 weeks remain for the crowdfunding project. They have got over half of the money, but there are no backers in the last 24 hours and views are starting to go down. Kazuya starts to panic and wonders what to do. Suddenly, his doorbell rings and he is surprised to see Minnie, who wonders if he made any progress with Chizuru. She gets inside his apartment, demanding updates and telling him that he must act now, as Chizuru was recently in his apartment. She ends up seeing his computer and the crowdfunding movie project. As she already knows everything, Kazuya decides to tell her about the movie too. Hearing about it, Minnie states that she can help him as she has experience with crowdfunding and as she and her cosplay friends crowdfunded an IRL event. Looking at the project, she explains it won't be easy, but wants the page analytics so that she can look into it and make a plan. Minnie returns later, telling him that if he wants to make the project success, there is something she needs from him. Kazuya then calls Chizuru and Ruka. When Ruka arrives, she sees Minnie and starts questioning Kazuya about who is she. Kazuya explains she is a neighbor and they have gathered to discuss the movie. Minnie tells Ruka to calm down as there is nothing between her and Master. Ruka starts wondering what is this Master stuff, and Ruka states she is just worshipping his way of life. While Ruka explains that she is Kazuya's girlfriend, Chizuru wonders why Minnie is here, and Kazuya tells her that she heard everything from the other night. Minnie asks them to stop arguing and focus on the movie. She explains that the project page is well written, but it lacks updates on progress, which causes some backers to cancel their support. The other issue are the rewards, who mostly just offer tickets, name and credits, and thank you messages. Those are classy, but mean nothing if they don't get the money. They need to add more rewards like personal possessions of Chizuru, such as clothes, shoes, and other things she wears in the movie, signed script copies, and other stuff. Chizuru agrees and will look at what she can give away. Minnie also adds that being on the site's recommended page will help greatly. As Chizuru probably knows a lot of actors, Minnie asks her to ask them to spread the word on social media. They also need to start giving out flyers around train stations. Minnie will write a progress update and add it to the project. Kazuya needs to convince Teppei Shimizu to put the project on the recommendations. Chizuru needs to look for items to give away and ask friends for help. Ruka should design the flyers. Ruka doesn't like being ordered by Minnie, but will do anything for Kazuya. After they all agree to do this, Minnie calls the plan Operation 203. Kazuya struggles to handing out the flyers. He recalls that the previous day was much easier when Ruka was with him and handing them out. However, as Ruka isn't here today, he keeps on trying to do it himself. He ends up seeing Sumi, who states that she is there to meet with her father. As she sees the flyers, Kazuya ends up revealing the movie project. She wonders if Kazuya is okay and he confirms, stating that if it's for Chizuru, he can keep on trying forever. He feels awkward for what he said and excuses himself and continues to hand out the flyers. Sumi texts her father, telling him to start without her, and decides to join Kazuya and help him with the flyers. She feels quite embarrassed, but gather enough courage to start asking people to take flyers and support their project. Minnie comes to help Chizuru with choosing items for rewards. Chizuru had gathered some old accessories, t-shirts and books. Minnie likes them, but states it's not enough. They need more unique items, as she will be making each of them into an own tier. Minnie shows a hair tie she found in her bathroom, noting that since it touched her skin, it will be priceless. After gathering more accessories, Minnie proceeds with Chizuru's closet and is impressed by her clothes. Looking inside, Minnie finds a Chinese dress. Chizuru feels embarrassed and states a friend gave it as a joke present and wants it back, but Minnie wants to use it as a reward, stating it will be quite a premium item. Minnie agrees to leave it if Chizuru plans on wearing it, which causes Chizuru to give up. Minnie then sees some pink dot drawers and realizes it's her panties drawer. She attempts to open them, but Chizuru stops her. After fighting for a bit, Minnie gives up. After collecting about 50 items, Minnie states they need to clean them up and take pictures. Minnie asks Chizuru if she has a boyfriend, but Chizuru denies it. Minnie then wonders what Kazuya is doing, and Chizuru guesses that he is talking with them crowdfunding manager as Minnie told him to. Minnie suggests Kazuya as a boyfriend for Chizuru, noting that he is doing everything for her and is kind of fate that they end up living next to each other. Chizuru states that Kazuya is a nice person. At first, he was unreliable. However, he is kind and honest. She is grateful for his help, but he is only doing it for her, the actress, and not as romantic thing. Minnie then reveals that Kazuya likes her and loves her as a woman. Chizuru doesn't believe it, as once she asked him if he had fallen in love with her and Kazuya denied it. Minnie tells her that things has changed since then and that she shouldn't expect him to to tell her the truth? Chizuru still doesn't believe it, since she thinks Kazuya isn't that stupid to fall for a rental girlfriend. Minnie states that humans aren't that simple, and since Chizuru is so beautiful, anyone who goes out on a date with her will wish that she is his real girlfriend. Minnie tells Chizuru that Kazuya loves her. However, she doesn't believe her, since Kazuya have previously told her he won't fall for her. After getting the items, Minnie prepares to leave, stating she will create tier reward levels for each one of them. She still tells Chizuru that Kazuya loves her as doing all this for her as an actress, and her grandmother isn't enough of a motivation. Minnie also believes that a true love can start from something fake. The moment Minnie leaves, Kazuya returns, and seeing Chizuru, he tells her that he asked Teppei to put their project on the recommendation page, but he didn't really want to do it. Chizuru nods and coldly closes the door. Chizuru asks Umi if he can spread the word that she has a crowdfunding project for a movie. Umi agrees and states it's quite motivating having someone ask you to star in their movie, but Chizuru reveals it's Kazuya. Umi feels it will have the best effect if he posts it on the last day of the project. He then requests something in return. The next day, Kazuya prepares to go to school, but feels quite down, wondering what he did wrong for having Chizuru acting so cold. Minnie sees him in front of their apartments and asks him what is wrong. Kazuya reveals that Chizuru must be fed up with him, as last night she quickly ran away from him. In that moment, he notices Minnie acting suspicious and asks her if she knows something. Minnie then reveals that she told Chizuru that he loves her, believing the two would start dating. Kazuya panics, believing that it's all over now. Kazuya wonders what Chizuru said, and Minnie explains that she didn't believe it as Kazuya had told her he didn't like her. Kazuya starts to feel that Chizuru had lost all of her trust, but then he receives a message from Chizuru stating that she wants to talk with him tonight along with Minnie. That night, Chizuru reveals that she asked her friend Umi to promote the project and that he had 230,000 followers. Seeing the numbers, Kazuya and Minnie are impressed, and Minnie feels this will help the project greatly. Kazuya feels there is something with Chizuru and asks her. Chizuru states it's personal and doesn't want to share it, but he insists. Chizuru then explains that the last day of the project is July 28th and Umi had invited her to go see a play that day. The person he wanted to go is unable to come, and as it's popular troupe, it's hard getting tickets and they could learn more about acting. However, Chizuru had promised that all of them would hand out flyers on the last day and told him she will think about it. Kazuya wonders if that is for exchange of retweeting their campaign. He learns that Umi has a girlfriend, but still start imagining that he may make a move on Chizuru and states that they have already planned that day. Minnie, however, shuts Kazuya's mouth and tells Chizuru that she should go, since they are asking for a favor, and turning down him asking for a favor would be awkward. Kazuya pulls Minnie to the bathroom to talk with her privately. Minnie explains that if she turns down Umi, he may decide to not retweet the campaign and he should trust Chizuru. They come out and Minnie states they agreed that Chizuru should go, and Kazuya confirms, noting it may make her a better actress. After Chizuru leaves, Kazuya starts crying and he still doesn't really want her to go. On the last day of the project, Chizuru meets with Umi and they head to see the play. On their way, Umi reveals he is excited to go with her, since she loves theatre and wants to hear her post-show review. Umi states he had different vibes coming from Kazuya when he first met him and wonders what kind of guy he is. Chizuru explains that he likes to talk big, but then immediately messes up and panics. He knows nothing about film production, but is confident he can make one. However, he taught her of the value having people around who can tell you it's possible. Meanwhile, Kazuya, Minnie, and Ruka are handing out flyers. Learning of why Chizuru isn't here, Ruka is fine with it and states it was the right choice. Thinking about it, Kazuya notes that he isn't sure if Umi has feelings for Chizuru and that he should focus on the project and do it for Chizuru's grandmother. He thanks Ruka, stating that he wouldn't have made it this far without her. After the play, Chizuru is quite excited and can't stop talking about it. Umi is glad to see that, as she is usually quite focused, but after seeing a play, she turns into a girl brimming with joy. Umi states he loves this side of Chizuru. She warns him to watch what he is saying, as his girlfriend Nanoho may get angry, and wonders if he will be going to see her since she is sick and couldn't come today. Umi then reveals that he lied about her being sick and that he already broke up with her. Recently, Umi realized that he finds girls who are into acting to be more appealing. Chizuru's alarm then rings, reminding her of the flyer handout, and she excuses herself, telling Umi that she wished to hear about Nanoho, but can't right now. Umi then asks her if she wants them to go and eat eat something. He had already made reservations at a place that is hard to get and where some actors go. Chizuru declines, explaining that today is really important day for them and she should help her friends. Umi asks her if she loves Kazuya. Chizuru tries to explain that they are only spending time together because of the movie, but Umi believes she likes him. He explains that a while ago, Chizuru wasn't getting excited about anything, but probably around the time the movie project began, she returned to her usual self. Initially, he believed it may be due her grandmother becoming better, but he guesses it's because she decided to chin up. Umi again asks her if she likes Kazuya, but thinking about it, Chizuru states she doesn't like him. However, she don't not like him either. Chizuru then joins her friends and starts handing out flyers. While they hand out flyers until midnight, Teppei have added the project to the recommended page. Umi has also retweeted it. At the time limit, they ended up succeeding and going with 30,000 yen over the goal. Kazuya receives the crowdfunding money and starts to worry of how big job he has now. Yoshiaki doesn't really know what is Kazuya worried, but ends up motivating him. The summer break starts and they start filming. Tabuse introduces himself as the director and asks Chizuru to also say something. Chizuru then thanks everyone and states that there may be ups and downs, but she will do the best she can as an actress. Tabuse then asks Kazuya as the producer to say something too. Kazuya states he doesn't know much, but wants to make the movie a success and thanks everyone. A moment of silence follows, but as Chizuru starts clapping, everyone else joins as well. They spend the entire day filming with Kazuya, doing various tasks from cleaning the set to buying food and drinks to everyone. Ruka also starts liking the set as she gets to spend time with Kazuya. They start filming scene 138, where the job hunt's getting to Kyoko and she hugs her grandma's plushie and cries. However, as they prepare to start filming, Tabusa hears a cicada and states they can't film with the noise it makes. They spot it on a bridge, but can't wait for it to go away since it's getting dark. Kazuya then heads on the bridge and manages to chase it away, but slips and falls into the river. After they get him out of the river, they continue filming and seeing Chizuru crying in the scene causes some of the crew members to cry themselves. Kazuya is impressed as well. He is sure that she will become a star and a famous actress. However, he wonders where will he be then? At home, Kazuya is tormented at how big the gap between him and Chizuru is. He starts to think that this will be his first and last film, and that he can't compare to Chizuru's talent, and that he will continue his family business as store manager. While filming, looking at how good Chizuru's acting is, Kazuya feels even worse and starts avoiding her. Since it rains, they are unable to film outside. During a break, Chizuru complains that he avoids her. Kazuya denies it, but states that top actress and store manager don't go well together. After he saw her acting again, he feels she is too amazing, while he only has been a burden for her. Chizuru states it doesn't matter if she is an actress and he a store manager, since both are doing it for their families. She has never regretted meeting him, although she do wish to punch him a few times. It stops raining and Tabuse calls Chizuru to continue filming. They end up filming almost the entire film, leaving only the last scene. Tabuse tells Kazuya that they are moving on their own short movie project and that he can film the last scene alone with Chizuru. They also need to go on a trip to Madara to film the last scene, but feeling that he can't do it alone, Kazuya decides to ask Minnie and she agrees to come. Kazuya tells her that he wants to invite Ruka too. Minnie then makes a shocked face, but tells him to leave the organization of the trip to her. Before calling Ruka, Kazuya decides to call Chizuru first and she agrees that they will go Wednesday and Thursday on the trip to film the scene. On Wednesday, Kazuya had prepared everything they need to film. He meets with Chizuru on the train station. As there are only 5 mins remaining until the train comes, Chizuru wonders where are Minnie and Ruka. Kazuya then receives a call from Minnie, which tells him that they are not coming. Kazuya is shocked, and as the train arrives, he and Chizuru wonder on what to do, but end up getting on the train. Chizuru wonders what Minnie told him on the phone. Kazuya then recalls that she decided to not come so that he can be alone with Chizuru. She had also arranged things with Ruka. However, he can't tell all that to Chizuru. Minnie then sends Chizuru a message stating that she is sick. Ruka calls Kazuya, who wonders where is she. Ruka explains she is in Harajuku, noting that it's a shame they had to postpone the trip due to Minnie being sick. Chizuru figures out that Minnie had planned all this since she believes they like each other. Kazuya is glad that Chizuru isn't mad, but believes she doesn't think anything of him since she accepted the situation quite fast. Reaching Iyama Station, the two then wait for the bus to come and take them to the inn. Chizuru attempts to tell something Kazuya, but blushes and walks away. Kazuya is surprised and wonders what she was trying to tell him. Arriving at the hotel, Chizuru finds it quite nice with a great view. However, Kazuya can't stop thinking about what Chizuru was about to say before that and feels that she may have even wanted to confess her feelings. The two then learn that Minnie had made reservations only for one room for two people. Kazuya panics and wishes to rent another room and is ready to pay from his own money. However, Chizuru takes the keys, stating that is fine as they have already shared a room before. After leaving their luggage in their room, Chizuru tells Kazuya that they should go and scout the locations while there is still daylight. They find a good place. Kazuya explains that he asked staff and they told him that post-midnight they can get a good starry sky. Chizuru then suggests do a test run and Kazuya agrees. After filming a test run, they return to their room. While Kazuya does a final check on the test run and storyboard, Chizuru takes a bath and changes into a yukata. She suggests that Kazuya takes a bath too, but he decides to do it after they are done filming. After midnight, they go back to the same place and Kazuya sets up the camera. Chizuru then tells him that she changed her mind and there is indeed something she wants to tell him. Kazuya panics and suggests that she tells him after they are done filming, but Chizuru refuses as she made her mind to tell him before they are done. Kazuya can't believe that she will confess, but Chizuru reveals that her grandpa that she loved a lot had died 3 years ago. He was the first to encourage her to become an actress and they made a promise that he will see her on the big screen. However, he died in a car crash. That's why Chizuru wanted her grandma to see it in his place. However, she also felt ill and Chizuru were failing auditions, so she felt she won't be able to do it in time. Chizuru became really happy when Kazuya suggested they make a movie and thanks him, promising to repay him with her acting. Kazuya then cries and proceeds to film the last scene. While filming it, he is sure that he made the right decision to make a movie for her. Chizuru recalls her grandpa and his promise. She tells him that such promise is irresponsible as he will probably die before that happens. Katsuhito tells her that if she believes in her dream coming true, someone will surely show up and be her pillar of support. After they filmed the last scene, Kazuya takes a bath. He thinks of Chizuru and that he didn't knew about her past with her grandpa, but realizes why she cried when Kazuya suggested to make the movie. Kazuya then gets excited that he will spend the night in the same room as Chizuru. He returns to their room and sees that Chizuru is already sleeping. He goes in bed too, wondering if he will be able to fall asleep given how much under pressure he was and if he did help Chizuru, but he falls asleep right away. Chizuru, however, have not fallen asleep. She watches Kazuya sleeping and recalls her grandpa's words that someone will come to support her and Kazuya proposing to make a movie with her. She then gets a bit annoyed that she can't fall asleep. In the morning, they prepare to leave the hotel with Chizuru being unable to sleep all night. The reception lady notes that it must be good for a couple to travel together. While on the bus, Kazuya states that the hotel, the bath, and the view were great. Chizuru states that it might be an ideal place to bring his real girlfriend and wonders how are things going with Ruka. Kazuya tells her that Ruka is a great girl and the fact she loves him makes her an angel. However, he decided to no longer lie his family and the next girlfriend he introduces would be one that he truly loves. Chizuru wonders about Mami and Kazuya explains that he haven't heard from her for a while and given how attractive she is, she probably has a new boyfriend by now. With the filming done, Kazuya realizes that he will be spending less time with Chizuru now, but is glad that he made the movie. He thanks Chizuru, but in that moment, she falls asleep on his shoulder, which excites Kazuya. They reach the train station. There, Ruka shows up annoyed that they left her. She explains that Kazuya sounded off during their call yesterday and she questioned Minnie, who ended up revealing the truth. Ruka starts checking out Chizuru, looking for kiss marks, but they tell her that nothing happened. Ruka wants to stay one night with Kazuya at the hotel and to do everything they did with Chizuru. Kazuya keeps stating that nothing happened, but Ruka doesn't believe him. While Chizuru goes to the bathroom, Kazuya explains that they were set up by Minnie and that they don't have money to spend another night. Ruka then asks Kazuya to promise her that on August 26th, her birthday, he will give her anything she desires. It's August 26th and Kazuya had handed over the movie footage to the editors so that they can complete the movie, which is scheduled for the end of September. His doorbell then rings and as he opens, he saw Ruka. She happily says that it's her birthday. She gets inside and tells him to get his swimsuit ready. They go to a public pool. Seeing her in a swimsuit, Kazuya gets quite excited. All other guys are also staring at her, which makes Kazuya wonder what she sees in him. Kazuya then excuses himself and goes to the bathroom. Ruka intends to use her birthday to get them closer and make his heart race. When he returns, Ruka asks him to put sunscreen on her back. Kazuya hesitates but agrees. As he touches her, she squeals. Kazuya then states he can't do it if she is going to squeal, but Ruka apologizes, stating that the sunscreen was a bit cold. Kazuya proceeds, but as he gets too excited, he decides to do it quickly and go into the water. However, after he is done with her back, she asks him to put sunscreen on her legs too. He is again against it but ends up accepting. As he does it, he wonders how far up the leg he needs to go, but decides to go to the bikini so that Ruka doesn't yell at him. However, he is then out of sunscreen and quickly excuses himself and goes into the water. A bit later, Kazuya buys her an ice cream, which she quite likes. Later, they go to a hotel restaurant to eat dinner. There, Ruka tells Kazuya it should be about time that he gives her his present. Kazuya is surprised and states he didn't get her one. That angers Ruka, who starts calling him names and wondering how could he not buy his girlfriend a birthday present. Kazuya didn't want to get her one, so that she doesn't get any weird ideas. After dinner, they go to a seaside park. Kazuya notices that during night there are a lot of couples there and wonders if Ruka planned this, but she quickly denies it. But he realizes that she is lying. Kazuya apologizes for the event so far, but tells her that she doesn't need to go out of her way for someone like him. Ruka then slaps him and states she isn't doing that due to him and Chizuru, but because it's her dream. She is a girly girl and wants the princess treatment on her birthday. She feels Kazuya is the one she waited for and thinks of her first boyfriend as a prince who will grant her her wishes. Kazuya feels that she is really a nice girl and apologizes for involving her with the movie. Ruka then asks him if he prefers Yamanote line or Chuo line. Kazuya states it's Chuo line, and Ruka explains that one time she wanted to ride for longer on the train, so she took the Yamanote line since it takes longer to reach the same destination. She felt it was pointless, but then she saw the sakura trees at the river and fell in love. Ever since then, she has been taking the Yamanote line during the summer. Her pointless detour ended up bringing wonderful new encounters and experience. She was thinking the same about the movie, wondering why she is doing it, but she ended up having a great time while watching the staff filming it. Kazuya feels that she is even more pure-hearted than he believed. They leave the park and Ruka wants to hold hands. She sees a couple where the man gives a present for their first anniversary. Ruka then stops and tells Kazuya that she really wants a present after all. She is fine with it not being anything material and wants permission to call him Kazuya. Since it's normal for couples to address each other casually, Kazuya agrees. Ruka then gets happy and starts calling his name in each sentence she says. Chizuru visits Sayuri at the hospital and gives her a new pajama for her 77th birthday. Sumi had seen Chizuru getting into the hospital and decides to visit Sayuri too. She meets Chizuru there and explains that she also helped handing out flyers. Sumi wonders what happened with the movie, and Chizuru explains that they are done filming and now the movie is being edited. Sumi gets happy and states that Kazuya was giving his all and wanted to help Chizuru and Sayuri. The two wouldn't have been able to do this project without each other. Chizuru then introduces Sumi to Sayuri, who feels quite nervous, and after greeting Sayuri, Sumi leaves. Sayuri tells Chizuru that she was always serious and unapproachable, but after she started dating Kazuya, she got a lot more people in her life. Chizuru then reveals that the movie is done filming and they also have a screening date. Sayuri is happy to hear that and agrees to come on the premiere. She also mentions that Kazuya must have worked quite hard and put all his soul into it. Chizuru then starts explaining how unprepared he was and didn't know how to do anything, yet he insisted on doing those things. She also ends up mentioning how she chased the cicada and fell into the river, and since he was wet and they only having female clothes, he had to change into female clothes while going home. As she tells this story, Chizuru starts to smile and laughs. Sayuri then asks her if she knows when a true love begins and explains it's when you're having the time of your life when you're talking about the other person. Minnie buys some snacks and goes to Kazuya, wanting them to celebrate his lost virginity. However, Kazuya explains that they haven't done anything with Chizuru. Minnie can't believe it given how good of chance that was. Kazuya complains about how much trouble Minnie caused with Ruka, but Minnie explains that she expected that after that night, Ruka to no longer be his girlfriend. While it seems Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship progressed a bit, she is worried that when two people their age spend the night together and do nothing, they remain friends. Hearing the noise, Chizuru comes out and complains that their whispering can disturb the neighbors. Minnie explains that they were talking about the movie. Chizuru then states that she will be bringing her grandma at the premiere. Kazuya states that he had prepared the gifts for the backers and needs to send them. In that moment, Ruka shows up giving them a scary look. However, she explains it's all good and it must feel good for her boyfriend to be surrounded by a beautiful neighbor and a rental girlfriend. She then pushes Kazuya inside his apartment, stating that it's hot today and they should take a shower together. Minnie tells Chizuru to make a move, but Chizuru just goes back to her apartment. Kazuya and Chizuru go to check out the cinema where the movie will be screened. Chizuru, however, comes with Sayuri and explains that she wanted to come too. Hearing that the cinema has 200 seats that will be taken by the backers, Sayuri gets excited and can't wait to see Chizuru on the screen. Sayuri then cries, feeling that she already saw the movie. While Chizuru heads to the bathroom, Sayuri thanks Kazuya, stating that she is able to see Chizuru on the screen thanks to him. Kazuya feels bad for lying to her and explains that he will always be out of Chizuru's league and doesn't even know why she is dating him. However, he recently made peace with it. She works really hard and being part of her dream made him feel that he achieved something. Even if he is no longer her boyfriend, he wants to be always there for her. Sayuri asks him to repeat all that again as she couldn't record it for Chizuru to hear, but Kazuya asks her not to. Kazuya heads to the bathroom. When Chizuru returns, Sayuri asks her if chasing her dream is making her suffer and if she is doing it out of some sense of obligation towards them. Chizuru states that there are ups and downs, but she enjoys having a dream and chasing it. Chizuru goes to get some coffee. Sayuri then recalls a conversation with Katsuhito where she complains and asks him to not encourage Chizuru to become an actress and it won't be easy. Katsuhito states that some dreams can come true, and it's not a problem to have one person in your life telling you that dreams can come true. Katsuhito states that if he dies before Sayuri, she has to ask Chizuru if her dreams make her suffer and if his encouragement became a burden to her, as he doesn't want Chizuru to suffer at all. Sayuri smiles, stating that Katsuhito wins, since Chizuru is far stronger than she imagined. She wonders if Katsuhito is watching them now and if he is seeing that she will be on the silver screen and that his decision was right. Kazuya comes out of the bathroom and sees Chizuru waiting for him. She tells him that Sayuri is quite happy and wants to thank him again for everything. Chizuru then leaves to get some coffee. Meanwhile, Sayuri falls from her wheelchair and people start to gather, wondering if she's okay. Kazuya and Chizuru return, and seeing Sayuri on the ground, Kazuya yells that someone call the ambulance. Chizuru falls on her knees in shock. At the hospital, Kazuya wonders if they put Sayuri's health in danger by taking her with them. When Chizuru comes, Kazuya asks if Sayuri is okay if she will recover like the last time. But Chizuru states that the doctor told her she isn't doing well and will likely not recover from this, and tonight is make or break for her. While Sayuri may not be able to see the movie, Chizuru is thankful for Kazuya for helping her to do everything she can to make it happen. She is frustrated but have no regrets. Kazuya doesn't believe that she has no regrets, as she is her only family and loves her so much. Before Chizuru returns to Sayuri, Kazuya asks if she is conscious. Chizuru explains that the doctor said she can hear them but is not responding. Kazuya then wonders if Chizuru is okay, not telling Sayuri that they aren't a real couple. Chizuru states they spoke about this already and don't want to cause her pain in such moment, but Kazuya wonders if Chizuru will be able to get over it. Kazuya has been thinking and wonders if not telling her the truth is the right decision. That may also leave Chizuru with a sense of guilt for the rest of her life. Chizuru then states that if they tell her, Sayuri may die resenting Kazuya, but he is fine with it as he wants to put Chizuru's feelings first. Chizuru disagrees and returns inside, stating that nothing pisses her off more than the sad reality. Kazuya knows that making Sayuri sad won't help. However, he is sure that Sayuri won't hate them for telling her the truth, and Chizuru also knows it. Due to her words, Kazuya is sure that Chizuru feels guilt and is sure that she will later regret it if they don't tell the truth. Kazuya feels there is nothing else he can do for Chizuru, but after checking his phone, he realizes there is one more thing he can do. Chizuru remains alone with Sayuri. She thinks of Kazuya's words, but feels it's pointless to tell the truth, as Sayuri may not even be able to hear her or that it will only hurt her. She apologizes to Sayuri for not being able to see the movie and thanks her for holding on for so long, but blames herself for not being able to make it sooner. Kazuya then comes in and, without saying anything, he sets up a laptop and a projector and puts the movie on and then leaves. Few moments later, Sayuri opens her eyes, but only watches the first several minutes before closing them again. After the movie ends, Chizuru thinks of Kazuya's words again. She feels guilt for not telling her, but also feels that if she tells her, and that make her sad, she will feel guilty too. As it will only make Chizuru feel better, she doesn't wish to tell her. She then recalls how she said that actors are good liars, and when she was in trouble at school, how she lied and acted that she was cleaning the faculty office and the teacher praised her for it. Sayuri tells her that people are made of 99% lies and 1% truths. She explains that everyone tells a lie in their life, but sometimes it may be due to they wanting to protect a truth. Sayuri is fond of those truths, and if she needs to tell 99 lies to be able to tell that one truth, she is fine with it. Chizuru tells Sayuri that she no longer knows what she's supposed to tell her and what not, and cries asking her to tell her what to do. Sayuri then raises her hand and touches Chizuru, asking her what is tearing her apart. Chizuru then reveals that she lied her, but couldn't continue and tell what. Sayuri then tells her that she both wants to know and to not know, and it's Chizuru's choice, and she will accept it. She thanks her for the wonderful film and asks Chizuru to thank Kazuya too. The two then hug, saying that they love each other. Soon after that, Sayuri dies. The next day, Kazuya tells Minnie about it and she cries. She asks him what he is doing, as he should be with Chizuru since she is probably heartbroken. Kazuya isn't sure about it, as sometimes he feels that Chizuru is far stronger than he believes. However, Minnie tells him that he is stupid. Later, Kazuya recalls when Chizuru left Sayuri's room in the morning. He asks her on how is Sayuri, but learns that she passed away. Chizuru tells him to go home and rest while she needs to prepare for the wake. Kazuya asks her if she is okay and to tell him if she needs anything, but Chizuru smiles and states she is fine. As she leaves, Kazuya feels that she is the usual Chizuru who is the perfect girlfriend and that nothing has happened. At the wake, Kazuya comes with Nagomi, who wanted to say goodbye to her best friend. Kazuya feels that she may start crying and cause a scene. However, at the wake, Nagomi is quite calm and doesn't stay for long. She tells Kazuya that she will be a bother if they stay for too long and she will be seeing Sayuri soon. Nagomi states that Chizuru is quite strong, and no matter what life throws at her, she never complains and fights her way through, which reminds her of Sayuri. She tells Kazuya that there must be something only he can do for her as her boyfriend. At home, Kazuya states that there is a lot of work for the screening, but he can't stop thinking about Chizuru and Sayuri. As he isn't her real boyfriend, he feels that there is nothing he can do for her. He thinks about what he can do and what a girl wants. Kazuya rents Sumi to try and find a way to cheer up Chizuru after the death of her grandmother. They went to a cafe and Sumi is crying over the news of Grandma Sayuri passing away. Kazuya explains he is feeling conflicted on whether or not to cheer Chizuru up, as she is acting just fine when with him. Sumi takes the initiative, dragging Kazuya to Shinjuku Station, intending to bring him to Fujisawa. Kazuya, aware of the situation, realizes that she intends on bringing him to the beach. Kazuya starts panicking as the rent session is almost ending, but she insists, using her voice to explain that she wants to do it for Chizuru and as his friend. Sumi states that she wants to help Kazuya as friends, which shocks him. As they head to the beach, Kazuya fantasizes about Sumi and her kindness. They play a game of match on the train to the beach. Once they arrive, Sumi disappointed at the fact that no one was there, due to it being the middle of September. They rushes to an observation tower. Kazuya, confused at how determined Sumi is, and follows her to the top of the tower. After looking at two people shout out of the top of the tower, Sumi builds up her courage and decides to shout too. Sumi's shout ends up being very quiet. Kazuya ends up shouting as well for her. Afterwards, the two eat at the local beach cafe. Sumi then drags Kazuya to the seashore, where the two play in the water for a while. Afterwards, Sumi writes in the sand with a stick to tell Kazuya that although she may not be able to help him, when people are in pain, she wants to help out by allowing them to have a fun time. Kazuya realizes what Sumi is saying and thanks her for allowing him to have fun. Kazuya realizes that he needs to cheer up Chizuru and thanks Sumi for the amazing date. Kazuya, back at work, starts talking to Ruka about the situation and how Chizuru normally doesn't like to show her feelings. Kazuya gets an idea on how to cheer Chizuru up, which Ruka says that it is a bad idea due to Kazuya not being Chizuru's real boyfriend, but Kazuya persists. Ruka notices how passionate Kazuya is for Chizuru, and she gets annoyed about how off-putting she is. She asks Kazuya to take her to the amusement park today, but he says isn't possible. He asks his manager for an early paycheck in order to cheer up Chizuru, which he allows on the condition that he keeps his hands off Ruka. Kazuya then rents Chizuru and prepares to give her the best date of her life. On the day of the date, Kazuya waits for Chizuru at the station, wondering what she will say for he booking her for the entire day. However, no matter what, he is determined to make her feel better. Kazuya has booked Chizuru for the entire day. However, as she comes, he feels that she is acting normal, like nothing have happened. He takes her to a store and tells her that he wants to buy her some clothes. Chizuru explains that the agency told her to accept gifts, so she agrees. She sees that he is looking at a particular outfit and decides to try it on. Seeing her in it, Kazuya comments that she looks great, and Chizuru decides that they buy this one and that she will remain with it on their entire date today. Next, Kazuya decides that they go see a movie. He had made his research and what Chizuru likes and guessed she will like this one. During the movie, Chizuru holds his hand, which makes him happy. However, he couldn't understand the movie and panics that he won't be able to discuss it with her. Chizuru likes the movie and happily talks about it, which makes Kazuya happy as well as his research paid off. After that, they go to a restaurant. Chizuru sees that the food is a bit pricey and leaves the menu. She looks at Kazuya and tells him to admit that he is worried about her. She again states that she is fine and knew that he will be careful around her, which makes things awkward for her. However, Kazuya denies it. Chizuru then thanks him for the projector he brought to Sayuri's room. She wasn't sure if she should talk about it on their date, but wanted to thank him. Kazuya asks if Sayuri saw the movie, and Chizuru explains that she saw small parts of it and stated it was a wonderful movie. Sayuri couldn't see her on the silver screen, but Chizuru is glad that she got to see her on something similar. Kazuya gets excited for their next place, as starting from it, his cheer-up date plan shifts into another gear. He takes her bouldering, since exercise will take her mind off things. However, bouldering has also another purpose for his plan. After they change clothes, Chizuru suggests that they help each other stretch. While they do it, Kazuya gets super excited. After that, they start climbing. Chizuru is quite good at it, but Kazuya also gives her some advice, which he learned while checking out the place earlier while planning their date. After all the exercise, Chizuru gets hungry. Kazuya had expected that and had made reservations at a crab restaurant. While the food is quite delicious, Kazuya says goodbye to his money as it's quite expensive. Last, Kazuya takes Chizuru to a place where he had prepared some fireworks for them. Chizuru sees sparkles, which were Sayuri's favorite. While she lights one, Kazuya goes to get some water. While watching the sparklers, Chizuru remembers a time where she was lighting some sparklers with Sayuri and her grandfather. When Kazuya returns, he sees Chizuru crying. After Kazuya brings the water, Chizuru acts normally and they continue to set off sparkles. Kazuya knew that his cheering won't have an effect, and Chizuru will keep on acting like nothing happened and bottling up the pain. He feels frustrated that she is just a rental girlfriend and can't depend on him at all, and that there is nothing he can do to help her. After they have burned all the sparkles, Chizuru states that it was a wonderful date and any girl would be overjoyed by the efforts he put for the date. She even feels that he can get a real girlfriend soon. Kazuya then states that his ideal girlfriend is pretty, fashionable, and kind. When he doesn't have his act together, she will scold him. Sometimes she cries a little and is the strongest person he knows as she hides her pain to not affect others. Chizuru then recalls a time with her grandmother, where she asks her if she sometimes feels lonely and how she deals with it. Sayuri then explains that a nice big hug fixes it, and as long as she is with Katsuhito and Chizuru, she is fine. Chizuru then recalls how Sayuri hugged her for the last time, telling her that she is her treasure. Chizuru then starts crying and leans on Kazuya. The next day, Kazuya can't stop thinking of what happened last night. However, it became clear to him that Chizuru is just acting strong, and he is deeply in love with her. While sitting on his bed and looking towards Chizuru's apartment, Kazuya realizes that Minnie had entered his apartment. Minnie wants to know what happened, and Kazuya decides to explain about his cheer-up date. However, he skips the crying part. Minnie then states that the next step should be he asking her out to a regular date, explaining that their relationship has grown more than just a rental girlfriend and a client, and he must test if she is open to the idea of them dating. Kazuya, however, panics and runs away, stating that he is going to buy some food. After getting some food, Kazuya returns to his apartment. He wonders if Chizuru is feeling alright and wonders if she will turn to him if she is in trouble. He decides to give her some of the fruits he got, but as he goes out of his apartment, he sees Chizuru coming home and panics. He attempts to speak about last night, but Chizuru starts talking that the movie screening is this Sunday and that she is torn between wearing a blue or red outfit. After that, Chizuru goes into her apartment, leaving Kazuya in shock as she totally ignored what happened last night. Back in his apartment, he starts wondering what is happening and that he can't understand girls. He also starts to wonder if last night was just an act and Chizuru acted as his ideal girlfriend as per his request, but guesses he is just overthinking it. In her apartment, Chizuru speaks to her grandparents, saying that they should know by now that they aren't really dating and that she is a rental girlfriend, although what she did last night was unprofessional. She speaks about Kazuya and explains that she was feeling so lonely, however, after crying in front of him, she feels much better now. At the day of the screening, Chizuru gets applauded after the credits roll. She looks for Kazuya and Tabuse explains that he went to thank the cinema staff. Tabuse wonders if Sayuri was able to see the movie, and Chizuru confirms. Tabuse then explains that he texted Kazuya that the final edit was done, and Kazuya rushed to his office to get it and also wanted to borrow a projector. Tabuse notes that he had never seen Kazuya that desperate. Outside the cinema, Kazuya is happy that the people liked the movie and still thinks of what happened the other day. Chizuru then joins him and gives him a drink. As they talk, Kazuya asks if she intends to continue working as an actress, and Chizuru confirms, noting that she wants to become a star and Sayuri to see her from the heavens. Chizuru then heads towards the after party, and Kazuya joins her. Yoshiaki goes to meet up with Nagomi, who explains that she wants to bring another advisor with who she became friends over the social media. When he meets Nagomi, he is surprised to see the advisor being Mami. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel.